Amid the increasingly complex conflict in Ukraine, a serious incident involving mistaken fire between North Korean and Russian troops has exposed major challenges in the unprecedented military relationship between the two countries. The incident occurred during a nighttime operation near the Ukrainian border, when North Korean soldiers accidentally fired on their allies, causing many casualties. This is the first recorded case of mistaken fire involving North Korean troops since they joined forces with Russia in the war. The incident not only highlights language and technological barriers, but also reflects the complexity of military cooperation between Pyongyang and Moscow, despite pressure from the international community. Geopolitical context. The deepening military partnership between North Korea and Russia signals a profound shift in global geopolitical dynamics. In June 2024, the two nations formalized their growing ties by signing a comprehensive mutual defense treaty, setting the stage for unprecedented military cooperation. This development reflects a dramatic evolution in their relationship, which has undergone significant transformations since the Cold War era. Historically, Russia served as North Korea's primary ally, but its influence waned after the Soviet Union's collapse. However, the ongoing Ukraine conflict has revived and strengthened this partnership. Since August 2023, North Korea has supplied over 13,000 shipping containers of artillery rounds, anti-tank rockets, and short-range ballistic missiles to support Russian military efforts. Additionally, approximately 8,000 North Korean soldiers are now stationed in Russia's border region, further underscoring the alliance's strategic depth. The international community has responded with growing alarm. South Korea has labeled the partnership a grave security threat and hinted at potential countermeasures. The United States has called on China to leverage its influence over both nations to prevent further escalation. Meanwhile, China has taken a cautious stance, recognizing the alliance's potential to reduce its economic burden on North Korea while monitoring risks of regional instability. Strategically, the alliance offers mutual benefits. For Russia, North Korean support alleviates immediate military pressures in Ukraine. For North Korea, the partnership provides access to advanced military technology, including opportunities to enhance its nuclear weapons program and missile capabilities. Additionally, Russia supplies vital resources such as food, oil, and financial aid, while offering diplomatic protection through its influence in the United Nations Security Council. Moscow's recent veto of UN sanctions monitoring mechanisms for North Korea exemplifies the tangible diplomatic advantages of this alliance. What began as a pragmatic, transactional arrangement has evolved into a strategic partnership that challenges the existing global order. While both nations gain significant advantages from this alliance, its practical implementation has revealed underlying challenges that complicate its effectiveness. Military integration challenges. One of the most pressing issues lies in the integration of North Korean forces into Russian military operations. This process has exposed a range of operational and tactical difficulties that significantly impact battlefield cohesion and overall effectiveness. Despite comprehensive training initiatives and efforts to address disparities, fundamental obstacles such as differing doctrines, cultural misalignments, and linguistic barriers persist, undermining the partnership's strategic potential. These challenges not only highlight the complexities of military cooperation between two ideologically and structurally distinct forces, but also raise broader concerns about the alliance's ability to function cohesively under the pressures of modern warfare. As the partnership continues to evolve, its operational shortcomings serve as a reminder that even the most strategically advantageous alliances must overcome significant hurdles to achieve their intended objectives. Russia has implemented an intensive training program for North Korean troops, emphasizing key combat skills such as artillery fire operations, infantry tactics, trench clearing, and drone operation basics. While these efforts aim to address capability gaps, the lack of recent combat experience among North Korean forces remains a significant limitation. Having not engaged in ground combat for decades, North Korean troops face difficulties adapting to modern warfare requirements, despite their strong discipline and organizational skills. Divergent military doctrines present substantial challenges to operational integration. North Korea's military strategy and tactics, largely unchanged since the 1950s, are ill-suited to contemporary combat scenarios. The Defense Intelligence Agency has noted that North Korea's military is largely unprepared to engage in modern warfare. Russian commanders have sought to bridge this gap through specialized training programs, yet these efforts are hindered by logistical and linguistic constraints. The deployment of one Korean language translator for every 30 North Korean soldiers is inadequate for ensuring clear communication during complex operations. Military experts emphasize that effective combat operations demand continuous and precise communication, which cannot be achieved through limited vocabulary or basic hand signals. Cultural and linguistic divides further complicate the integration of North Korean forces. Communication challenges disrupt command and control processes, particularly at lower echelons of the Russian military structure. Although approximately 100 critical military terms have been taught to North Korean troops, language barriers persist, diminishing their ability to operate effectively within Russian units. These difficulties underscore broader systemic issues, as military alliances typically require extensive time and effort to achieve operational cohesion. Historical examples such as NATO's evolution illustrate the necessity of foundational elements like a common operational language, shared tactical doctrines, extended joint training, and integrated command structures. The absence of these elements in the Russia-North Korea alliance significantly increases the risk of coordination failures and incidents of friendly fire. As seen in the recent Kursk region operations, these shortcomings hinder the alliance's effectiveness and suggest that integration challenges will persist in the near term, with implications for broader strategic outcomes. Battlefield technology gap. Technological disparities between North Korean forces and the demands of modern warfare have emerged as a critical obstacle in their involvement in the Ukrainian conflict, exposing significant vulnerabilities in adapting to a digitally dominated battlefield environment. These challenges not only underscore the limitations of North Korean troops but also highlight the broader difficulties of integrating a technologically underprepared force into Russia's advanced military operations. North Korean soldiers face significant hurdles in adapting to modern warfare techniques, particularly in areas such as drone operations and electronic warfare. Their historical focus on mountainous terrain combat has left them ill-equipped for the flat, open landscapes of Ukraine, where mobility and advanced technology are paramount. Struggling to effectively use surveillance systems and combat drones, North Korean forces are notably vulnerable to drone-based attacks, a key feature of the current conflict. The adaptation issues extend to their use of standard Russian military equipment, including AK-12 rifles, 60mm mortars, Phoenix anti-tank guided missiles, and night vision devices. Despite receiving these systems, North Korean troops lack familiarity with modern combat tools, requiring extensive retraining. Military analysts point out that these soldiers arrive without their own equipment, further compounding the integration challenges as they transition to Russian systems. Beyond equipment, the technological gap becomes even more apparent in digital literacy. North Korean forces demonstrate significant limitations in understanding and operating modern battlefield technologies, such as surveillance systems, electronic warfare equipment, GPS, and communication tools. North Korea's prior experience in electronic warfare has been limited to basic GPS jamming near its own borders, leaving its soldiers unprepared for the sophisticated demands of the Ukrainian battlefield. Complicating matters is the shortage of translators, with just one Korean language translator assigned per 30 North Korean troops, making it difficult to convey critical technical instructions effectively. While North Korean soldiers exhibit physical discipline and a willingness to learn, these technological shortcomings severely hinder their combat effectiveness. Military experts and intelligence agencies, including the UK Ministry of Defence, confirm that these troops struggle to integrate into Russia's advanced command and control systems. This lack of compatibility raises questions about the long-term viability of the Russia-North Korea military partnership and underscores the profound challenges of merging disparate forces into a cohesive and effective fighting unit. Operational security concerns. Recent intelligence reports have highlighted critical operational security vulnerabilities in the deployment of North Korean forces in Russia's Kursk region. Ukrainian intelligence successfully intercepted radio communications between North Korean soldiers, exposing significant weaknesses in their communication security protocols and raising concerns about the broader effectiveness of information control measures. Intercepted communications reveal gaps in securing sensitive operational details and command instructions. The Defense Intelligence of Ukraine (DU) has reported capturing these radio conversations, indicating lapses in the measures intended to safeguard battlefield information. Despite Russian military command's stringent protocols to manage such risks, particularly regarding the presence and activities of North Korean forces, these interceptions underscore persistent challenges in maintaining operational security. To address these concerns, Russian commanders have implemented strict device control policies for North Korean troops. These measures include restricted access to communication devices, limited use of personal electronics, and controlled distribution of tactical communication equipment. Additionally, battlefield management systems are monitored closely to prevent unauthorized use. However, these restrictions, while necessary, introduce operational constraints that further complicate coordination between the two forces. The effectiveness of communication protocols remains hindered by language barriers. With only one Korean language translator assigned per 30 North Korean soldiers, critical aspects of tactical coordination, real-time battlefield communication, and emergency response are adversely affected. This limited translation capacity directly impacts the command chain's efficiency and the ability to maintain cohesive operations in high-pressure scenarios. In response to these vulnerabilities, the United States and its allies have enhanced their interoperability and information-sharing capabilities, particularly in space and cyber domains. Strengthened partnerships with Japan and South Korea have bolstered their ability to monitor and respond to emerging threats, including the deployment of North Korean soldiers in Ukraine. The Pentagon has confirmed these troops' presence on the front lines, primarily serving in infantry roles. Further complicating the situation, Ukrainian intelligence reports reveal that Russia has attempted to disguise North Korean troops as Buryat soldiers, an effort aimed at obscuring their identity and mitigating potential political fallout. This masking strategy underscores Russia's awareness of the deployment's sensitive nature and the associated need for heightened security measures. However, these efforts have proven insufficient, as continued interceptions by Ukrainian intelligence expose persistent challenges in maintaining operational security for this unconventional alliance. Impact on local operations. These vulnerabilities have significant implications for local operations in Russia's Kursk region, where the deployment of North Korean forces has fundamentally reshaped the military landscape. With approximately 10,000 North Korean troops now stationed in the Kursk Oblast, Pentagon officials confirm a marked shift in the region's military composition. This presence has introduced additional layers of complexity to an already volatile battlefield, complicating coordination, security, and operational effectiveness while altering the dynamics of the ongoing conflict. The Kursk region has experienced dramatic changes since Ukrainian forces initiated their incursion in August, capturing roughly 400 square miles of territory in the initial weeks. While Russian counteroffensives have reclaimed some ground, Ukrainian forces still maintain control of about 250 square miles. The arrival of North Korean troops, primarily in support roles and constituting less than 1% of Russia's total forces, has added both manpower and operational challenges to the region. To integrate these foreign forces, Russian military command has made tactical adjustments, including specialized training programs focusing on infantry tactics and drone operations. North Korean units have been integrated into existing Russian command structures, with dedicated communication protocols established to address language barriers. These measures have facilitated limited success in reclaiming territory, though Ukrainian forces continue to hold strategic positions. The fighting near Novoivanovka, for example, has reportedly inflicted heavy casualties on North Korean units, underscoring the human cost of their deployment. Despite these efforts, the operational effectiveness of North Korean troops remains mixed. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky reported approximately 3,000 North Korean soldiers killed or wounded in the Kursk region, highlighting their significant losses. Limited experience in modern warfare, coupled with language barriers and unfamiliarity with Russian military systems, has hindered their performance. Logistical challenges, exacerbated by Ukrainian attacks, have further complicated their integration. The Pentagon has observed that North Korean forces are employing massed, dismounted assault tactics against Ukrainian positions. While these human wave strategies have provided temporary pressure, they have shown limited effectiveness against entrenched Ukrainian defenses. Nevertheless, their deployment has allowed Russia to sustain its offensive operations in eastern Ukraine without resorting to another domestic mobilization, offsetting personnel shortages at the expense of increased operational complexity. Military analysts note that while North Korean troops bring discipline and organization, their integration into Russian operations faces substantial hurdles. The deployment reflects a pragmatic response to Russia's manpower constraints but also exposes the limitations of such an unconventional partnership. As the conflict continues, the presence of North Korean forces will likely remain a contentious and strategically fraught aspect of the region's military dynamics. Ukrainian counter-response. In response to this new development, Ukraine has launched a comprehensive counter-response aimed at exploiting the vulnerabilities of North Korean forces. Combining advanced psychological warfare tactics with robust intelligence gathering, Ukraine seeks to undermine the morale of the North Korean soldiers and gather critical information on their operations. A key element of this strategy is the expansion of Ukraine's I Want to Live project, which now includes Korean language communications, specifically targeting North Korean troops. This initiative is designed to not only demoralize soldiers but also encourage defections, further complicating the already difficult integration of these foreign forces into Russian military operations. To capitalize on the unique vulnerabilities of these troops, Ukraine has developed targeted psychological operations. These include Korean language social media campaigns, surrender protocols offering food and shelter guarantees, and drone-delivered leaflets paired with audio broadcasts. These initiatives emphasize the futility of participating in a foreign war and appeal directly to the soldiers' survival instincts. The Center for Combating Disinformation has confirmed plans to intensify these efforts, including producing videos that expose the human cost of North Korean involvement. At the same time, Ukrainian intelligence services have implemented robust measures to track and analyze North Korean troop movements and combat participation. By documenting unit assignments, individual identities, and operational patterns in occupied areas, Ukraine has built a detailed picture of the deployment's scope and impact. Collaboration with South Korean military observers has further enhanced these capabilities, enabling joint analysis and expertise sharing on North Korean military tactics and strategies. Operationally, Ukrainian forces have made significant strategic adjustments in response to North Korean deployment patterns. Precision counter-strikes on Russian airfields and air defense systems have curtailed the operational reach of Russian aircraft, forcing them to reposition away from the front lines. Additionally, Ukrainian forces have exploited the tactical independence of North Korean platoons, whose lack of full integration with Russian units has resulted in higher casualties and diminished combat effectiveness. Reports indicate that approximately 3,000 North Korean troops have been killed or wounded, although U.S. estimates suggest the figure may be closer to 1,000. These losses have highlighted the challenges of the unconventional alliance between North Korea and Russia. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba has called for lifting restrictions on long-range missiles, framing the North Korean deployment as a significant escalation in the conflict. President Zelensky has echoed these concerns, criticizing the international community's muted response and warning that a lack of decisive action could encourage Russia to expand its North Korean contingent. In response to these developments, Ukraine has strengthened its partnership with South Korea, focusing on developing specialized countermeasures and sharing intelligence on North Korean military capabilities. This collaboration not only enhances Ukraine's strategic position, but also signals a broader commitment to countering the growing partnership between Moscow and Pyongyang on the global stage. Human cost analysis. At the heart of this challenge lies the mounting human cost of North Korean military involvement in Ukraine, which has reached alarming proportions. White House spokesperson John Kirby confirmed that North Korean forces have suffered mass casualties on the front lines, with approximately 1,000 troops killed or wounded in a single week in Russia's Kursk region. This staggering loss underscores the severe human cost of North Korea's involvement in the conflict, reflecting the devastating toll that this unprecedented military deployment is taking on North Korean forces. The psychological and physical burdens faced by these troops are further complicated by their integration into Russian operations, which continues to reveal deep operational and strategic challenges. The scale of casualties among North Korean troops has been substantial, with varying estimates from different sources. Ukrainian intelligence reports indicate over 3,000 casualties, including killed and wounded soldiers, while South Korean military sources estimate around 1,100 casualties. U.S. military officials confirmed several hundred casualties, including both lower-level troops and high-ranking officers. These losses have been primarily attributed to the massed, dismounted assaults employed by North Korean troops, often sent into battle with minimal protection or preparation. Tragically, the casualty rate has been particularly high, with a quarter of the deployed North Korean forces becoming casualties within weeks of their deployment. This large-scale loss of life has introduced significant complications for Russian military operations. While the integration of North Korean forces has helped offset Russia's substantial monthly casualties, which average around 30,000, their deployment has not proven to be a decisive factor in the conflict. Russian commanders face considerable challenges managing these troops, whose morale remains high but who are ill-prepared for modern warfare. In some cases, Russian forces have had to execute their own North Korean allies who attempted to surrender, adding further strain to the already tense operational situation. The psychological toll on North Korean troops has been particularly severe. Military intelligence reports highlight credible accounts of soldiers committing suicide after failed assaults, driven by the fear of being captured, and the potential reprisals against their families in North Korea. Several factors have contributed to this grim situation, including cultural isolation, as North Korean troops face significant linguistic and cultural barriers in a foreign environment, and operational pressure, with both Russian and North Korean commanders treating them as expendable for hopeless attacks. Furthermore, these soldiers are often sent into battle with limited protection, leading to heightened vulnerability and escalating the already high casualty rates. Despite the overwhelming odds, North Korean troops have demonstrated remarkable loyalty and fighting spirit, particularly the Storm Corps units, which form the backbone of the North Korean contingent. Their intense ideological training and strong party loyalty have fostered resilience, though the heavy human cost continues to affect their effectiveness on the battlefield. Ukrainian forces have captured some North Korean soldiers, though many were severely wounded, further exacerbating the strain on Russian medical and logistical resources. The human cost of North Korean involvement extends beyond immediate casualties, impacting unit cohesion and diminishing operational effectiveness. As the conflict drags on, These mounting losses, coupled with the psychological and logistical challenges faced by both North Korean and Russian forces, highlight the unsustainable nature of this military partnership. Future alliance implications. This evolving military partnership between Russia and North Korea, however, marks a significant realignment in global power dynamics. The ongoing cooperation between the two nations is driven by mutual economic and military benefits, including arms deals worth an estimated USD 5.50 billion. This unprecedented scale of cooperation is reshaping regional and global security frameworks, with profound implications that extend beyond the current conflict in Ukraine. While the alliance offers both nations important strategic leverage, its sustainability is increasingly called into question by the high human and operational costs it imposes. One of the key drivers of this alliance's sustainability is the substantial economic and military support Russia provides to North Korea. This includes annual revenue from troop deployments, increased oil imports that exceed UN sanctions limits, advanced weapons systems, and diplomatic protection in international forums. Through this partnership, North Korea has managed to circumvent international sanctions, enabling the growth of its defense industry, particularly in the production of attack drones and the expansion of missile manufacturing facilities. However, experts note that operational adjustments are necessary for the long-term effectiveness of this alliance. These adjustments focus on areas such as command structure integration, improved translation capabilities, standardized communication protocols, and the management of technology transfers, particularly in satellite technology, rocket systems, and nuclear delivery systems. Despite these efforts, challenges remain in maintaining operational cohesion, particularly as China's influence over North Korea continues to diminish, potentially destabilizing the Korean peninsula. The long-term consequences of this partnership extend across multiple domains, from regional security shifts to nuclear proliferation risks. South Korean intelligence reports indicate that North Korean special forces are gaining combat experience alongside Russian paratroopers, which could alter the military balance on the Korean peninsula. Additionally, the partnership has spurred increased cooperation between South Korea and NATO, enhanced information sharing among Western allies, and growing concerns among regional powers like Japan. In terms of nuclear proliferation, Russia's stance on North Korea's nuclear program has shifted, signaling a potential weakening of the global non-proliferation regime. The possible sharing of sensitive nuclear technology between the two countries could further destabilize international arms control efforts. Economically, the partnership has reduced China's leverage over North Korea, while Russia provides increased support through oil and food aid, as well as the development of alternative supply chains for military equipment. Despite the apparent advantages, there are signs that North Korea's conventional weapons stockpiles have been depleted to the point where it could not currently engage in a conflict on the Korean peninsula without Russian support. This dependency, combined with opportunities for military modernization, creates a complex dynamic where both countries rely heavily on each other. Nevertheless, some analysts remain skeptical about the long-term viability of this partnership, noting the limited economic complementarity between Russia and North Korea beyond arms deals. In conclusion, the evolving partnership between Russia and North Korea is reshaping the global security landscape, with profound implications for both regional and international stability. As the United States and its allies bolster their defense alliances, particularly in the Indo-Pacific, and as Russia takes a more favorable stance toward North Korean denuclearization, the long-standing framework of global non-proliferation may be increasingly threatened. While the long-term sustainability of this alliance remains uncertain, its immediate impact on global security cannot be overstated. How do you think this shifting geopolitical dynamic will affect future international relations and global stability?